Hello Rahul. I am AI Nova, your virtual interviewer for today. This is the first round, Java Spring Boot technical evaluation. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, Nova, I'm ready.
Before we begin, let me give you a quick overview of our company and vision. We're building next-generation AI-driven enterprise platforms that combine intelligent automation, cloud-native architecture, and scalable data systems. Our focus is to integrate AI-first design into everyday enterprise operations, from predictive analytics to smart content systems. We're assembling a strong tech team capable of designing end-to-end AI solutions, built on solid foundations in Java, Spring Boot, Microservices, REST APIs, and cloud environments. I'll start with some Java and Spring-related questions to assess your technical depth, coding logic, and architectural understanding. Please feel free to think aloud while answering. This interview will consist of 20 technical questions. Your answers will be evaluated for clarity, depth, and practical understanding. Let's begin. Can you explain the difference between abstract class and interface in Java 8 and above?
Sure. So both are used to define some kind of structure or contract for classes, but the main difference is abstract classes can have both actual working methods and abstract ones, while interfaces are mostly for defining capabilities. From Java 8, interfaces became more powerful because they can also have default methods. So I'd say I use an abstract class when classes are closely related, and an interface when I just want to define common behavior across totally different classes.
What is the executor framework in Java, and how does it improve multithreading?
The executor framework mainly helps by creating and managing threads for us, so we don't have to manually start them in our code. It simplifies thread handling and keeps everything cleaner. I mostly just submit tasks to the executor instead of writing thread logic myself.
How does Java Stream API differ from traditional loops in terms of performance and design?
Streams let you focus on what you want to do, not how to do it. So instead of writing big for loops, you just chain methods like filter, map, collect. It's more readable and expressive, especially when you work with collections. Performance-wise, it can also take advantage of parallelism easily, so for big datasets it's quite efficient.
What is the difference between hashmap, linked hashmap, and concurrent hashmap?
Right, so hashmap is the basic one, it doesn't keep any order. Linked hashmap keeps the order in which you added things. Concurrent hashmap is used when multiple threads are working. At the same time, it allows safe updates without locking the whole map. So in simple terms, one is fast and basic, one keeps order, and one is thread safe.
Can you explain immutability in Java and how you would create an immutable class?
Sure. Immutability just means once an object is created, you can't change it. Like the string class, you can't modify an existing one, you always get a new one. It's great for thread safety, because you don't have to worry about someone else changing the data behind your back.
How does dependency injection, DI, work internally in the Spring framework?
With dependency injection, Spring just checks what objects we need and injects them automatically. So we don't have to write new. It basically reduces tight coupling and makes classes independent. I haven't gone too deep into how Spring does it internally.
What are bin scopes in Spring? Can you explain singleton, prototype, and request session scopes?
The most common ones are singleton and prototype. Singleton means Spring creates just one object for the whole app. Prototype means every time you ask for it, you get a new one. For web apps, there are also request and session scopes. Those are specific to each user or request.
What is the application context and how is it different from the bin factory?
They both manage objects, but application context is the more advanced version. It does everything bin factory does, plus things like event handling and automatic scanning of components. Basically, bin factory is like a basic toolbox, and application context is the full toolkit.
Can you explain the Spring bin lifecycle, including post-processing and initialization?
Yeah, so Spring first creates the object, then injects all its dependencies, runs any initialization code, and then makes it available for use. When the application shuts down, it calls any cleanup or destroy methods. So you can hook into the start or end if you need to do something special.
How do you handle circular dependencies in Spring?
That's when two beans depend on each other, like A needs B and B needs A. Spring can sometimes handle it if it's setter-based, but not if both are constructor-based. In those cases, I try to redesign the logic or use a lazy load to break the circle.
What's the difference between a Spring application and a SpringBoot application?
Spring is the core framework, it gives you all the features, but you have to configure a lot manually. SpringBoot is like Spring made easy, it sets up defaults automatically, so you can just start coding instead of spending time on setup.
What are starters in SpringBoot and how do they simplify configuration?
Starters are just pre-made collections of dependencies for common use cases. So instead of searching for 10 libraries, you add one starter, and it includes everything you need. It just makes life easier.
How do you use application.properties or application.yml to manage environment-specific settings?
Those are basically where we store settings, like database URLs or log levels. You can even have different files for dev, test, and production, and tell the app which one to use. Make switching environments super easy.
Rahul, we are halfway through the interview. Your responses so far are being evaluated. Let us continue. Can you explain auto-configuration in SpringBoot and how to exclude unwanted configurations?
It means SpringBoot guesses what you need and sets it up automatically. If it sees you've added a web dependency, it sets up a web server. If you don't want some of it, you can just switch that part off.
How do you implement custom exception handling in SpringBoot using @controller advice?
I usually have a central place where all exceptions are caught and turned into proper responses. That way, I don't have to repeat error handling code in every controller. It's cleaner and easier to maintain.
How do you design a RESTful API in SpringBoot and what are key principles of REST?
I try to keep it simple. Use clear URLs, proper HTTP methods, and standard response codes. For example, get for fetching, post for creating, and so on. And I make sure the API is stateless and consistent. That's the key.
How do you secure a SpringBoot application using Spring Security or JWT JSON Web Token?
Usually with authentication tokens. If it's a simple internal app, I might use login-based sessions. For modern APIs, JWT is better. You log in once, get a token, and send it with every request. It's clean and stateless.
What patterns do you follow to enable inter-service communication? Example, using Feign client or REST template?
When I have multiple services, I use either REST calls or messaging. For REST, I might just call the other service directly. For high-scale systems, I prefer using queues or Kafka, so the services stay independent and don't block each other.
How do you handle performance bottlenecks in a microservice such as database latency or high concurrency?
If a microservice is slow, I usually add caching or scale the service to handle more traffic. That generally solves performance problems. Most of the time, tuning and scaling are enough to improve speed.
Have you worked with containerization Docker or cloud deployment AWS, Azure, GCP for SpringBoot apps? If yes, describe how you package, deploy, and monitor your services.
Yes, a bit. We usually package the app so it can run anywhere. Docker helps with that. For deployment, I've worked on AWS mostly, where we host and monitor the services. It makes updates and scaling much smoother.
Thanks, Rahul. That was insightful. At NovaraaAI, we value engineers who can blend AI thinking with strong back-end foundations. Before we close, do you have any questions about our tech stack, projects, or AI roadmap?
Thanks, Nova. Yeah, I'd love to know a bit more about how NovaraaAI is planning to bring AI into enterprise applications. It sounds like a very interesting space. I'd really like to understand what kind of projects your team is focusing on.
Thanks, Rahul. Appreciate your interest. At NovaraaAI, we're focused on bringing AI into core enterprise workflows, automating decisions, predicting outcomes, and improving efficiency. Our goal is to make AI practical, scalable, and deeply integrated with business systems. We believe this is where the next big transformation in enterprise tech begins. Thank you, Rahul. The evaluation is complete. Processing your overall score. Your performance score is 17 out of 20. Result: congratulations. You are selected for the next round. All the best. Would you like feedback on your strengths and improvement areas?
Yes, that would be helpful. Thank you, Nova.
Rahul, your overall performance in this round was strong and confident. You demonstrated good clarity in Java fundamentals, Spring concepts, and REST design. Your structured responses reflect solid hands-on experience and practical understanding. Overall, you maintained composure, clear communication, and good technical flow. However, a few answers lacked depth, especially on the executor framework, dependency injection internals, and microservice performance tuning. Focus on thread pools and scalability, lifecycle wiring inside the IOC container, and performance patterns with caching and circuit breakers. These concepts will strengthen your architectural thinking in advanced discussions. Keep refining these areas. You are on the right track and ready for the next round.
Thank you, Nova.
Thank you. We will get back to you. Thank you for watching this AI interview on NovaraaAI. If you found this helpful, do like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Comment the next tech stack you want me to interview on. Until then, keep learning, keep practicing, and see you in the next episode.